Phillip Bay on a really nice January summer morning. It's relatively flat. Port Phillip Bay down here in Victoria is a relatively flat bottom. It's nice and salty, so we're going to get a good difference to your fresh water. We're going to find some reefs to see how the reefs appear on the Structure Scan 3D, as well as see what fish appear like over flat bottom.
Just to interrupt you there while we're here. We're going over sand at the moment. This is the original Structure Scan in its 2D form. And the reason I interrupted you was to just say that we just went over a patch of bait there. So this is what your Structure Scan will show up bait as. It shows it up as a cloud there. So I know that bait is about 10 metres over that way to our right. So Moose, we're going to switch this over to the 3D part of the unit. Can you show me what to do?
Cool.
The first thing we have to do is we have to update the software into our Lowrance unit or Simrad unit.
Just don't pick your nose. So on Dave's HDS9, we have his original LSS2 Structure Scan transducer mounted on the keel, as well as the new Structure Scan 3D transducer mounted on his port side of his hull. So we've got two options. This is his original Structure Scan, reading from the unit itself. We also have the module box. So after we do the software update, we can click on Source and go to S3D, and they'll switch it over to the new Structure Scan transducer. You can see things slightly change. Now this transducer should give us a better return. It should be a crisper, sharper image. But the main thing, of course, is the 3D function. So I go back and I hit 3D. And all of a sudden you can see, if I zoom in a little bit, there's our little boat shooting out our virtual beams to give us an idea of the water below us. Well, Mick Caulfield, champion fishing angler, has just brought up an interesting point. The beam angle on these Structure Scan 3Ds and Structure Scan in general is quite sharp. So we just went over some bait fish and we tried to find them on the Structure Scan 3D and we couldn't really see them. We saw them on the traditional sonar, but not over on the 3D, and that's partially due to that bait school being sitting quite high in the water column, about halfway and up, you reckon, Mick?
Correct, yes.
So this Structure Scan 3D we're finding would be a very useful tool for your bottom dwellers, your morsel fishing, snapper in particular, which are obviously feeding on the bottom, more so than your top water column.
Yes, more so finding your bottom species opposed from your salmon and your pelagics like your marlin and your...
Like, I guess though, when guys, when you're out on the marlin and you've got a more deeper thing,
yes,
that increases your cone on the surface.
Definitely, David, correct.
So we're going to see bait at like 60 metres,
yes,
60 feet.
You'll see marlin 60 feet, and then you'd be able to put your teasers out and try and bring them up, or conversely drop your downrigger down to target those fish.
So like your old 2D Structure Scan, you'll be able to find bait sitting outside the basic area of the boat.
Yes, correct, David.
You can see here we're cruising up to a reef. It's just over on our right hand side and we're just skirting the edge of it. You can see it appearing way off, about 30 metres off to our right. As I show you there, if you can see it a bit better if I turn it that way, you can see how it rises up. We zoom on in, Dave.
So what we've got our three numbers here. The number in the centre is our depth, and as you can see, the cone's going out to 22 on this side, 35 on that side. What that is telling us is we have a drop-off.
Yes, correct.
The beams can go a lot further on that deeper section than they can in the shallow section.
But again, as we can see all these ridges, we're still sitting over not as much reef as we were before, but there's still some bumpy ground.
It definitely has a lag, doesn't it?
Yep.
Like
but look at that, it gives you a good image of the flat sea there, and with the highlights there.
I will tell you straight out, that this isn't a product that you put on and understand straight away.
We've had a good learning curve today.
But it is extremely interesting.
I think it's a product that the more time you spend on it, the more value you're going to get off it. But don't expect it to put it on and it just easy.
That's our cursor, and now we can pan from that particular cursor.
You can look back in time.
We can look back at our history.
I'm just showing the back of the actual curve.
It's like a little submarine.
Yeah, look at the image up here, showing the sharp edge here and a gradual drop off here. So you've got shallow up here and a slow depth.
Mick's talking about the cone up here.
Yeah. Nice one.
So Dave, what do you think of the new 3D from Lowrance?
Well, I've been adjusting it a lot to stop it from being so blurry.
Yep.
And
how did you manage to do that, Dave?
I put my glasses on.
Really?
Yeah. So I can actually see the ridges and the drops and the weed, and I'm actually quite impressed now that I can actually see the screen.
Terrific.
So there you go. There's a pointer to all guys over 50. Put your glasses on.
Yeah.
Well, on this system, I'm able to press, if you can see here, crosshairs.
Yeah.
And we'll take it off here for a sec. If I touch the crosshairs, then go to something, so I can see this dark patch. I'm wondering what this dark patch is.
Yep.
So I'll target the dark patch. Now I can zoom in on it, and I can also look around at different angles of it.
Yep.
To try and get either the best view or to see what's around behind it. But I can actually rotate the screen around on a particular point once I've crosshaired it.
That's a good feature.
Hey Dave, how fast are we going?
56 kilometres an hour.
We're still getting good bottom. We're still getting depth. And what transducer are you running?
The El Cheapo 83 200, $149 at Mick Marine.
So you don't need big, powerful 1 kilowatt transducers, 3-hole transducers.
This is also just sitting off the back transom, installed by a regular mechanic. No problem at all.
Not particular. I mean, it's flat, but not too flat. It's got a little bit of chop, but it's not that bad. So we're here at Frankston, just out the front of Frankston Pier. Only in about 4 meters of water, and we've just gone in front,
That's
and
awesome.
we've picked up
They're in clusters of 5.
the concrete fish domes. So if we actually pan around, Dave, we might be able to
Put it on there and touch there. Now we can stick to those.
That's quite interesting.
Have a look at that, buddy.
Quite interesting because we're actually a bit off them and picks up quite a fair way.
So yeah, they're a fair
right
distance
hand down,
over
right?
towards the jetty there.
Picked up. Awesome.
We picked them up about 15 metres away
Yeah.
from the keel of the boat.
Yeah, that's quite.
A bit hard to see, but you can see the shadows, the dark patches of where those concrete bombies are, just off the edge of this pier here.
Yeah, I'm quite a ways away from them. I'm picking them up nearly 18 metres away from the boat.
Picking up anything now, Dave?
Yeah.
Yeah, heaps.
As you can see, you can manipulate the screen to look at it from different angles.
Tell you what, it really picks up the bombies well, doesn't it?
It really works well as a structure scan to look on flat ground to find those bombies.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely offshore.
Even those holes.
Okay guys, basically we're in an area that Mick up the front driving is one of his favourite squid spots. Now we know there's ground here, but if you were new to this area and you were looking for some area to fish for squid, today the water's really dirty. And even in 4 and 5 metres, we can't see the broken ground. But
On here.
in 1 second we'll take you over to the structure scan. And there you go. Mick, take it from there.
Obviously on the left hand side here, I can't actually see the screen now because Moose is hogging it, but we've got a reef coming up on the left, which is not well known, secret reef. I can't tell you where it is, but today, because the dredge is working in Frankston Creek, which is a bit of a clue, the water is very discoloured. But with the structure scan, you don't need to see in the water because we've obviously got a perfect picture on the left hand side of the image.
That's fantastic.
It is a fantastic image, and I'm quite impressed in it. Yeah.
It's even rotating around. You
Yeah,
can
that's
see.
awesome, isn't it?
I must admit that over
I
the
need to go easy squid.
It's a moonscape, and the red dots there would most likely be squid.
Look at that. That's perfect.
Yeah.
I must admit that it has taken a few hours to play with it, but we are getting really good bonuses out of it now after mucking around with sensitivity, noise rejection, surface clarity. There's a few things to play with, but
Yeah.
it's not difficult.
The people in all those houses over there, with all their fancy cars and fancy fine dining, have no idea of the power. The power of the Structure Scan 3D.
Here we go.
Have
Look
a
at
look.
these going through bommies here, little bommies.
Demonstrating the power of Structure Scan. That's awesome.
You don't
Yeah,
get
that
that
is
on
very cool.
Bruno.
There you go.
And that is the Haynes Hunter.
Haynes Hunter on the bottom of the ocean floor.
So if we pan around a little bit, there it is. Poor bugger.
Anyone wants a GPS mark for it? It's $1,000 up front.
Yep. Plus GST.
Nice one. Well, we just did 14 hours on the water testing this new Lowrance Structure Scan 3D on Dave's 5-metre evolution boat here in Port Phillip Bay, Victoria. And it was a good learning curve, I thought, Dave.
Yeah, look, it's not a product that's straight out of the box and you know what you're doing. It's going to take a little while to learn it. Different depths of water, we're getting different results.
Yeah, look, I really like that shallow water stuff towards Frankston. It looked very crisp.
That 6 metre area, that 6 metre water, it was crystal clear. And finding the sand holes in the broken ground in amongst the sand was, I think, was really easy. Really
Yeah.
easy.
It was very good to see it, how it rendered the 3D environment. It was difficult at first in the flats. Once we started seeing some more 3D structures like the man-made reef down at Frankston and some of the entrances was quite good. It's something that I think, even with 14 hours of use in the water, is barely scratching the surface.
Yeah, I agree. It's and look, Port Phillip Bay, we decided to come out here. We wanted to look at how it would affect squid fishing and shallow water fishing. I think we need to do a test on Western Port,
I think
or maybe Eildon.
Yeah, somewhere where it's potentially a lot deeper as well.
Yeah,
I think it might have some real guts behind it for some depth, but on the whole, I think it's a good toy.
yeah, it was simple to install.
was-
One transducer, one box.
Replaces your existing structure scan, so you can get rid of that.
Definitely on the 2D, the flat.
Yep.
Oh, the image is 10 times better.
Yeah.
10 times better than the original LSS structure.
So even just to buy it as a better structure scan, it's not a bad option.
Yeah, no.
Well, there you have it, the very first water test in Victoria, potentially even Australia, I guess, of the new Lowrance Structure Scan 3D. If you have any questions, feel free to send us an email, which is shop@regalmarine.com.au. You can check out our Facebook pages, which is Marine Electronics with Moose or Regal Marine. You can go to www.regalmarine.com.au, or you can come see us in store. This is Dave, I'm Moose. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you on the water.